Leaders of the Mid-State Corridor project say they need more money, where they're going to get it. Plus, Huntingburg Mayor Denny Spinner is tonight's guest on Monday with the Mayor, and host Bill Potter brings us another episode of Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. Another busy weekend for area law enforcement. The most notable incident involving a Florida man who led police on a brief pursuit through Jasper, then compounded his troubles by refusing to cooperate with authorities. Now, the story begins at around 1:40 Saturday morning when a JPD officer was traveling behind a northbound SUV along Clay Street near JR's Bar. Police say the vehicle then turned east onto 2nd Street before going across Newton Street and turning left onto Main Street. JPD says the driver, 26-year-old Toby Shelley of Bradenton, Florida, accelerated at a high rate of speed after turning east onto 3rd Street from Main Street. At that point, the officer turned his emergency lights on and the pursuit began. The vehicle continued going south along 3rd Avenue on the city's southeast side. Shelley then went east onto Rumbach Avenue and almost hit the curb before stopping in the parking lot at Fazoli's. A short time later, police found that Shelley was intoxicated, but he refused to take standard field sobriety tests or portable breath tests. Shelley was then taken to Memorial Hospital for a blood draw, but he continued to not cooperate with police. He then refused a warrant for his blood or urine once it was issued. Shelley then became belligerent, according to police, yelling and screaming at officers and hospital staff multiple times after he was asked to stop. Shelley was then booked into the Du Bois County Security Center. He was charged with level 6 felonies for driving while intoxicated with a prior conviction, obstruction of justice, and resisting law enforcement. He also faces a misdemeanor for disorderly conduct for his poor hospital behavior. The Mid-States Corridor project continues moving along. However, project leader Hank Menke says a little extra funding won't hurt. Over the next few weeks, Menke will be traveling around to Jasper, Huntingburg, and Ferdinand to ask for each municipality to chip in some more money for this project. Menke says he isn't necessarily looking for a large amount of money. He says the money is mostly needed just to keep things moving.
Most of it's going into just some engineering study work, preliminary work. Our big expenses behind us, but we need to keep a little bit of money in the till so that we can continue to really work hard with the Indianapolis folks in making sure that this thing becomes a reality in the next 4 years.
Now, the Mid-States Corridor project was given Tier 2 status last year by the state's Blue Ribbon Commission for Transportation, which Menke served on along with Lieutenant Governor Sue Ellspermann. The Tier 2 status means the highway is slated to be built within 5 to 10 years. Menke says, though the economic development benefits are great for the area, he is also concerned about safety in light of major accidents along US 231 in recent years.
There's no question about it that 231 is a very dangerous road. And obviously here with the construction that we had with the nice 4-lane road that's coming up from the bridge up to 64 is a nice stretch of road, but obviously when you get in this what I call this limited access road, there's problems with that, and obviously by the number of deaths we had on that.
Of course, the most recent major accident along the highway claimed the life of 60-year-old Susan Grundhafer of Dale last month. Menke says the Mid-States Corridor Group is still closely monitoring the construction of I-69. He remains confident that stretch of highway will be finished. Menke also says communities such as Washington are already reaping the benefits of having an interstate. Several major companies have built along the highway, and a new project that would add a warehouse, a railroad branch line, and infrastructure to the area is still in the works. Menke says the Mid-States Corridor Group can learn a lot from all of that development.
They're doing a great job of getting industry and different establishments moved in that area and planned out very, very well. And I think that's something too, as this thing matures and starts to, as we know which side it's going to go, east or west, or how it's going to get routed, we need to really give it a lot of thought from from Jasper and Huntingburg as to where the industrialization, where it needs to, where it can expand and grow.
Menke says now is the best time to keep pushing for the Mid-States Corridor with all of the local representatives who are in the State House. He says though he still wants the highway to be interstate grade in the end, he is willing to wait for that interstate designation. Sunday sales of alcohol continues to be a hot topic at the Indiana State House. Just last week, the project received new support in the Indiana Senate. Senate leadership stated that if a bill makes it to the chamber, that it will not be blocked. The bill to allow sales was co-authored by House Public Policy Chair Tom Dermody. The new bill would allow grocery, pharmacy, and liquor stores to be open on Sundays from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. to sell liquor. Now, the bill has met with some opposition from liquor store owners. They say they wouldn't make enough money in Sunday hours to be able to pay their employees. District 48 State Senator Mark Messmer says the bill has a real chance to go further than the previous versions have.
If a bill does get out of committee, it'll address the concerns of the package stores and concerns they have, on their business model, that might be negatively impacted without, having some additional requirements for the large retailers. So if something gets out of committee on that in the next week or two, it'll come from the House Public Policy Committee, and then we'll look to see. I think our Senate chairman is willing to hear it as long as it addresses, all sides of the issue.
Messmer says inconsistencies need to be ironed out before the bill makes it to the Senate for review. The bill is expected to come before the full House sometime within the next couple of weeks. And finally tonight, the Spencer County Regional Chamber of Commerce celebrated a big anniversary this past weekend. Saturday night, the Chamber hosted its 15th annual membership dinner in Christine. The dinner saw several people recognized for their efforts. Original Chamber Board member Gene Steinkamp was recognized as this year's Board Member of the Year. Steinkamp says public service has always been important to him.
Anytime you get outside of yourself that's bigger than you get a chance you grow. And I swear, anytime I've spent any time on any board or any kind of public assistance thing, you get more out of it than you give in.
Now, several other awards were presented Saturday night. One of those was the Ambassador of the Year award. It went to Mary James for this year. The final announcement of the night may have been the biggest one for the future, however. Executive Director Debbie Barrett says she will be leaving the Chamber next month. Barrett is set to take over as General Manager for Santa's Lodge. Barrett, who has led the Chamber for the last 6 years, says a lot has been accomplished during her time as Director. She says community gatherings have been the best part of her job.
The events, I enjoy, like the event we're doing tonight, I enjoy doing the events and bringing people together, letting them have fun. I love giving out awards, especially when you're sitting there, as I was doing with Gene Steinkamp, and they're reading the information and you watch the person and you see the recognition come across their face. I really enjoy that they're being acknowledged for what they've really worked hard on.
The Spencer County Chamber has been incorporated since 1999. All right, coming up after the break, Denny Spinner is up next for Monday with the Mayor, plus your local forecast, sports with Kurt Guxell, and Inform with Sally Sternberg and Michelle Brandel discussing Catholic Schools Week. That's all up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.